Hi everyone, welcome to Aha Says Panda. Today we're going to be making a panda kissing card. As you can see, when you open it, the pandas slide together to kiss each other. And when you close, it moves back out. So today we're going to focus more on the mechanisms of the panda kissing part, but I will run through with you real quick on the card base. So we are going to start with a Whisper white cardstock, and you're going to score at 2 1/8 on the long side of one side, flip it over, you're going to score it again at 2 1/8, and then reinforce the sides. The outer panel, the black matting part, is measured at 5 1/4 inch and 1 7/8 of an inch. You're going to make 2 of those, and then also your white panel, which you can use designer paper or you can just stamp your own image, which I did here. And the white part measures at 5 1/8 inch and by 1 3/4 inch. And then once you cut them out, glue them on top of each other, and that's it for the outside of the card. Next, we will focus on the inner portion of the card here, in the inner panel. So I used pattern paper and a regular cardstock color paper, and you'll see that I have multiple panels to mine. As you can see, it comes in 3 parts, actually 4. So this is going to be my sentiment on the front, and so to not waste any paper, I've actually, if you flip over the cardstock, you will see where I've actually punched out my sentiment here, and for my hole that I punched out, I use Stampin' Up's Deco Label framelits that you can use the smallest 2 framelits inside, and you will see that layering them together will make your inner cut and the outer cut of your frame. And I use that as a little extra add-on to my hole. Just glue that guy down real quick. Once that's glued down, I'm going to glue my sentiment down. And this cardstock, the designer paper measures at 5 1/4 inch by 3 1/2 tall, and then the back side, the dark blue, is measured at 5 1/2 by 3 3/4 inch. And that's basically your panel for the inside of the card. And we will set that aside, and then we will move on to making the pandas and the mechanisms of the panda. Alright, for the next part we are going to be making the pandas with the panda mechanism. So currently for this card, I am using the Mama Elephant Pandemonium stamp, and you can see there's 2 kissing pandas here, and I use the Kiss Kiss I Love You as my sentiment for my card here. So we'll go ahead and take our pandas, put them on our clear block, stamp away, make sure there's a good image there, staple them. Make sure your image is nice and clear. Perfect. And then you can hand cut the pandas out from this point forward, but I went ahead and purchased the framelits, which nestle perfectly to cut out the pandas. And I went ahead and already did that, so I have 2 pandas ready to go that will perfectly line up for kisses. To designate that I have a girl panda, I'm going to take some pink cardstock and use my owl punch builder and punch out 2 hearts to make a bow. There we go. And then I'm going to make my panda on the right side be my female panda. Put the bow here. little bit more dab of glue. And there she's wearing a bow. So we'll set those aside for now and build our window part or the mechanism of the kissing pandas. Now if you don't have clear acetate, you can also use white cardstock, which I've used here on a previous card. I just like the cleaner look of the acetate. Now this is, I put together an easy how-to to make it easier to see the clear acetate. My clear acetate measures at 3 1/4 in length and 1/4 in height, and you will need 4 of those. And as you can see here, I've labeled one side as the A side and one side as the B side based on how we are going to put the pandas together and where in the spots we're going to glue them down. And you can see where it says A will be my A spot for my right facing panda, and the B side will be for my left facing panda. So I'm going to use my grid here as an easy matchup for lining up the mechanisms for my pandas, and they are overlapping by 1.5 inches. Go. And I'm going to use some tape to hold those guys down as I glue my pandas together. I'm going to label these so it makes it much easier for you guys to see what side I'm using the pandas for. So my girl panda will be the ones glued to my A side, so you will be using the A tabs here. And easiest way to line these guys up is to go ahead and pre-place your pandas so that you make sure you have them lined up. And take one guy off. Put some glue down. Then I'm going to put her down first. Hold her down for a second so the glue to take place to adhere. And then I will be putting glue dots on the B part. Place them together so that they are close enough that they're kissing. And then, let's see, give them a second to hold down. And then once we lift up the tape, you can see that the pandas will slide back and forth. Here I've done a little extra part and reinforced them. So I just took a nice little scrap piece of paper, just snipped them so that it'll cover right behind the pandas. It just makes the sliding motion go a little bit more smoothly. I'll put the little glue dots right where we originally had the first pieces of glue on the other side for the pandas. There we go. As you can see, they are not in the way for our sliding mechanism. The pandas. Alright, so now we're going to take our scoreboard again, and we're going to need to score 1/4 inch from the edge on both sides. Where did the stylus go? There we go. Use the tape here to hold it down. Okay, we're going to flip this guy back over and do the same for the other edge. 1/4 inch as well. Alright, and then we are going to fold these over, give it a nice good fold. Alright, and then there we have it, our mechanisms for our panda moving. As you can see, they slide pretty well. Okay, and then now we're going to move on to putting our card together. Alright, for our last step, we will be assembling the whole card. So before we glue this guy down, we are going to place him in the center here, just to kind of mark our area where we need our pandas to be sliding into. And I'm using a white colored pencil, so I can still see my mark, but you won't be able to see it on the card once it's assembled. I'm going to go ahead and place my pandas in, see exactly where I need it to measure, kind of go down, and then you can see it's perfectly aligned in the window. And I'm going to use some glue dots to adhere these pandas. Okay, I find it very much easier to do one side at a time. And then also, I'm going to bring in my stylus to help adhere my glue to the card. And I'm going to bring my glue dots to the other side. There we go. This makes it easier. We slide him in slightly. And you see here, just take our step up. Alright, line him up. Just go the same way. Make sure that's nice and reinforced in. And then you can see the pandas are moving. Yay! Alright, for the next part, we're just going to use some dimensionals to glue this guy down. I find it easiest to double layer the dimensionals so that it gives the pandas extra space to slide around. You want to be careful where you're placing your dimensionals as well to make sure that they do not get in the way of the mechanisms of the pandas sliding around. And then we are going to line up the card. Tap everything down, and there you have it. Finalization of the card with the pandas kissing. If you have any questions, all the dimensions of the card will be on my website at Aha Says Panda. Thank you.